Here we go, this is Nomad. We're gonna need to name the teams as well. Kråkeslottet, not Kåre, but Kråke. Crow's Castle versus Deep Sink. Desync. What is he, level 6? Is it 1200s? You know what? I should actually... Let's just do this. This should show the ELO and average ELO upon sign up, because I haven't updated the sheet. So just follow the link, you'll see all the teams in the collected. 8 divisions total, crazy. That's a good first season. 58 teams total. Few teams have withdrawn, but that's perfectly fine. That's to be expected, some drop-offs. So it's Nomad, so we should have some time to talk about the start here. Let's start with the Kråkeslottet. They really wanted this game casted. So Covenant here with the Portuguese, giving them instant cartography here. So they'll know. That's really confusing on Nomad starts, but it's also handy because you'll have shared vision from the very get-go. They have split up the docks here, not necessarily ideal, because if one of them will focus on water control, then it's a long distance to travel to defend it all, but it's also good to split up the fish income among them. Great dock for Covenant here. It's lots of deep fish. It's usually best to dock in the corners, but you can see sometimes it's not as good as well. But for example, this one, it's very few deep fish quite close. But you could always add another dock later, so it's not the end of the world, depending on what sieve you start with. Lithuanians actually could get to the fish quite early, so you might as well want to get that dock up fairly soon. So yeah, Covenant with the Portuguese could have a very deadly... great for naval battles, of course. We saw it in the previous game not so well, and they played more of a... Was it a land thing? Or at least they didn't play the caravels against the longboats, but yeah, Portuguese, lots of bonuses playing into water. They also have a very deadly unit on land, the organ gun. So if you get some castles up and you get a mass of organ guns, they are pretty darn hard to kill. Top side here, Minas Beta with the Spanish. Go to save for Nomad for many players. It's the Conquistadors from your castles, fast castle Conquistadors. That's a dominating play for the Spanish. And this position is perfect for Spanish. Stone close to TC, gold spot over here. Easy wall off if you want to keep raids out and force the opponents to maybe make a landing on you to really obstruct it. And the first castle would probably go somewhere around here to cover both the stone and gold here. And you have some more resources secured for your further production. Fred Fatti with the Lithuanians, already as mentioned, will be focusing more, or could focus extensively on wood to begin with. Because of the extra starting food of the Lithuanians, it's easier to keep production going. Correct, Mr. Zanzola. So Fred Fatti should be looking at a very low ILT's time here, because of that extra starting food. Very smooth start for the Lithuanians. McNuggets with the Vietnamese here. Rat and Archer being the unique unit often sees play on Nomad, because Nomad will involve castles almost every single game, unless it's a game that ends in the feudal age. And that civilization bonus of the Vietnamese, revealing the town centers of the opponents once they have completed. So that's a very handy bonus to have for Nomad. The Vietnamese, however, don't have an eco bonus in the Dark Age, and that sets them back a little bit for Nomad starts, where extra food or wood savings or whatever really helps you out a lot. Judean People's Front with the Berbers here. That could actually be kind of a counterpick to the Conquistadors. You often see Italians, because the Genoese crossbowmen and the Italians late game death ball with bomber cannons and Genoese, for example. They do well against all cavalry civs and cavalry archers, like both war wagons and conquistadors. But Berbers here, if you get to mass cavalry archers or to cavalry archers, they also have bonus damage against cavalry archer armor class, which is the armor class of the conquistadors as well. So they could be used for that purpose. And then finally the knight with the Persians. Fantastic Persian spots here to start. These are the woodline, of course. Persians get to drop a dock and a fishing ship right away, so if you remember to build your house, you'll be having an instant fishing boat once your dock is not instant, but you'll be able to produce your first fishing boat once the dock is completed. Also, having the Persians set up for a free boom like this, as seems to be the case for the knight, that's the dream situation for Persians to be in, because they have faster working TCs and docks. So assuming that the knight's team claims and wins water this game, then you'll have a fantastic economy and boom for the Persians, potentially with both fish and town centers producing more quickly. So we have feudal ages on the way here for the Persians, among others here. Some 1 minute idle TC time, that's the case for most of them. All of Kråkeslottet are going up, so telling me that they may want to have at least one player contest the water, because you will need to protect the Spanish players' fish, so that means Beta can more comfortably produce conquistadors at a consistent rate. Second dock coming up here as well, that's probably going to be fine. Now what I see high-level players do often, what is usually a good idea for these novel starts, or for any map involving water, is to use either your pigs on land, of course, to scout dock locations, but also while you're on the way up, if you plan to contest water, or just if you want to gain some intel on what the opponent is doing, you can send one fishing ship and scout the shoreline, so you can see how much fish is being produced. If you see, for example, only 5-6 fishing ships and one dock from the Spanish, that means that they don't want to contest water. They are just going, most likely just going fast castle age, and will not be offering any resistance on water. But here's a third dock going up from Minas Beta, and Minas Beta is actually producing the fire galleys here, so it's not straight fast castle for the Spanish. It could still be a quite fast castle, but it's fire ships to defend on their own here. Bit of wall off here for Fred Fatty, not a bad idea. Will keep your economy safe for raids and give you a heads up if the conquistadors come this way, then they have to break through the walls first. Even if it's palisades, it will give you a warning that something is coming up. Lithuania is also decent at dealing with conquistadors because they have faster moving trash units like halberdiers and skirmishers. So Minas Beta is actually using the fire ships offensively here. We'll spot one of the Persians' docks. They have twice the hit points as well, by the way. That's Persians' advantage with the town centers and docks having more hit points total. So good aggression here. It's a bit surprising to have the Spanish player go for naval control, but there's nothing wrong with that. We're still spending gold, which will delay the castle age transition, but it's 3 docks here, all producing fire galleys. And we'll keep the right hand side of the waters here safe at least. Looks like Fred Fatty is either scouting here or just moving out to collect fish further away here. One fire galley out and to contest the other side here. This dock of Judean People's Font is not going to be too easy to spot here. It's like hidden in the ditch inside there, but that also means that the travel for the fishing ships is much farther, so that's going to take you a while. Seal is making the fast castle age play here. is not on stone, so this has to be the cavalry by the Berbers. Double stables here. And also keeping the Vietnamese teammates close here, so the double ranges of the Vietnamese to produce the archers, and then Berbers to join the Knights could be very deadly here. This guy's been traveling for a long way. We'll maybe find the blue dock here. It's quite close to red side. And red hasn't been making any fire galleys, so McNuggets is going to lose the little bits of fish he has here, and that's probably not a big deal. The land economy is already settling, and that castle age is still a while away. Actually, the food income is also a bit off here, but yeah, we're gonna get there. Shouldn't be too delayed by the aggression over here. So the knight salvage most of the fishing ships, is also redocking further north here, so Minnesbeta may be thinking that naval control has been assumed here, but with that new dock and the fish working, you'll still be able to bring in food for the Persians player over here. So the cast stages are kicking in. It's also on the way for the Spanish here. The stone is being collected, and they're walling off the hill here. So somewhat of a team wall up here. Could maybe have walled, since they are now in control of water, they could also wall all the way to the edge of the shoreline, but this is obviously fine. It's going to keep the Berbers cavalry out, and here comes a castle for Covenant as well, so maybe it does have those organ guns in mind long term here. Archers from one side, still stuck in feudal age, but castle is just clicked, so that's on me for saying that. Lithuanians with +2 defense here. Spots the archers. Consistent production, is it? No, not really. Second TC going up on the stone there. Could be long-term lightis here for the Lithuanians player. But the Berbers cavalry is also here. They have comparable upgrades. It's a +1 attack actually for Minnesbeta, so slightly, no, not Minnesbeta, but Fred Fattig, so slightly ahead here. More stables going up. Food and gold eco looking a bit on the low side here to support that kind of investment. Is mainly relying on fish here. And where is Fred Fattig taking gold? It's over here, only 4 gold. Okay, so for one stable consistent production, you need 6 villagers on gold. Unless you have gold mining, then it's then you're okay with 5. So if you want to do multiple stables, you either have to rely heavily on market usage and sell wood and stone, or you need definitely need more gold to justify the production. This is not looking very pretty for the Lithuanian player. The organ guns are joining in, but in small numbers. They will be, I believe they have minimum range of 1, right? So in small numbers, the organ guns aren't nearly as deadly. They could still do damage, of course, but now the Berbers cavalry will just pop in and take out these small numbers of organ guns, no problem, because of the minimum range especially. So top side here we have some cavalry play for the knight as well. Fire galleys doing their thing, but the knight having redocked up here and some big brain move is actually still bringing in the food from the fish. That Minnesbeta may or may not have thought that was dealt with. Oh, a TC foundation gets denied here. Oh, delete the TC, or you'll lose these resources. Oof. I don't think Minnesbeta deleted that in time. So that's 275 wood, 100 stone down the drain. Lots of things going on here. Here comes the Spanish castle. Arguably on the wrong side, but it keeps this gold safe, which is also important. Fred Fatty has been able to drop another TC now and is secured the gold over at that TC spot 2 stables going up here as well, but look at the numbers of the Vietnamese and Berbers here. Berbers have 15% discount on cavalry in the castle age, so they are able to mass knights much more easily, or camels for that matter, much more easily than other civilizations, but and they want Lithuanians out of the picture here. There's not that many builders lost from Fred fatigue yet, so good defense, all things considered, good reactions. Organ guns trickling in one by one isn't really doing too much here, but now they're reaching a mass where they can weaken the knights quite easily. However, the production buildings, the stables, they are going down rapidly here for Fred fatigue, who doesn't really have a running economy to keep pumping up the knights. You can't really go siege workshop defense here either, because there's knights here to pop in and take out the mangonels somewhat easily. Conquistadors with the ranged gunpowder attack, they aren't very accurate. They are 65% accuracy, so they'll miss some shots, but with their high ranged attack, regardless, they are able to deal with knights in small masses without any big issues. It's really desync on the offensive here though, and they are especially focusing on one player here now, but in the meantime the knights has been annoying enough on the top right side, so the only part of the map where Kråkeslottet really have control now is the naval situation, and they're not... I guess Middelbeta has been benefiting from the naval control through boarfish here, but that fish is going to be more and more inefficient as the game goes on as well, because they need to travel so far to bring in the food. So these, they're very focused on one single player here, but what does it matter really? If you take out one player to the point of defeat, you're already sitting at a very decent advantage here. Look at the military situation, 64 to 29, but keep in mind that 11 of those 29 are on the waters as well, so that should be only 18 military for Kråkeslottet on land against what is probably 60, and that is just a huge difference. So 3 times the military on land for desync. Keeping the aggression up, chasing the conquistadors as well, as long as they are still in small numbers. That's going to mean knights losses, but it also means that the conquistadors stay close to home and can't raid as they would love to do. So Middelbeta has spotted the redocking of the Persians, so good usage of the naval armies here to again compromise that fish income of the green player. However, looking at the farm economy on land, that's not going to be any disaster for the knight at this point. Imperial H coming for the Portuguese. 15 organ guns out as well, and they are collected, so the crossbows alone will struggle to deal with this, I think. Then again, there's a healthy chunk of Berber's knights to chime in there as well. Good crossbow kills here from the blue player. Look at the kill count, 32 kills for these guys, while the knights have 0? I guess the knights that actually killed villagers or units, they died in a different situation. So, seemed somewhat happy with damage done on the purple player at this point, desync, so now they move on to make sure that the Portuguese and the Spanish players aren't allowed to get to a point where they can hard carry the game home, which funnily enough conquistadors and organ guns in a large enough mass could probably do here, could probably still make a comeback if they had a massive boom running behind this or just ridiculous army mass, but they are outmassed big time. The knights run in to raid the economies that's at work here. 2 castles for the Spanish, which means consistent production of conquistadors out of both of these. Quite a few in the queue, in fact. But one player not providing military, struggling a little bit for economy here as well, is leaving Kråkeslottet at a bit of a rough spot. "35 knights and counting here. Imperial Age for Portuguese. Are we going to see elite organ gun here maybe? Nah, I don't think the economy will allow that. Did lose 13 villagers to raids as well. This was a rough match. Yeah, it looks kind of rough. Doesn't look too fun to be Fred Fatigue for this one. Another castle for the Spanish, so they're attempting to push back here now. Organ guns and conquistadors. This castle is not going to be easily denied, depending on how well the armies work together. There are a lot of knights though, so if you collect the green and teal knights here, you have almost 70 knights total, and even the Persian player alone here, the knight playing the knights actually is just demolishing the organ guns here, and the Covenant now left with 0 armies. Fred Fatih is making some skirmishers, which will work well against both the crossbows and the conquistadors, but yeah, the Spanish doing great here. Actually, I think, now don't quote me on this, but the Persians, knights, they deal bonus damage against archers, and conquistadors have archer class armor. So if the Persian knights get close, they will deal bonus damage to the conquistadors as well. The GG I'm gonna play is it's called, and they said this was our best nomad ever, so I'm glad the D-Sync are happy with the the game just played. Let us have a look at the statistics. So, economy is best for the Persians here, as you'd usually expect from Persians in the maps involving both land and water, especially if they're in the free boom position that the knight was able to get. The Berbers and Vietnamese pushing nicely on the left hand side, keeping Kråkeslottet on the defensive all game, and also allowing Imperial Persians to go to Imperial Age and field lots of cavalry. Didn't lose a single villager this game tonight, almost 100 villagers at the end of the game. And finally, let's just have a quick glimpse at the 8 PM here, so some rapid movement here from the Lithuanians, whatever that is. Panic, quick walls, running away with villagers, lots of actions. Alright, I think we're going to hide out next. We are indeed. Panic APM, best APM. Yes. So, Yes, these colors are decent. It's yellow teal, not yellow green. So let's have a look here. It's hideout, so it's going to be a somewhat slow start, so we could just introduce the civilizations while we're at it. McNuggets with the Saracens, frequently seen on hideout because it's one of those sims that can actually get away easily with feudal age army masses, namely the archers, because Saracens archers, or team bonus I should say, gives bonus attack against buildings, which means you'll more easily take out palisade walls, which, as the map description in the in-game ranked queue is hideout, the palisade walls gives a false sense of security, so especially against the Saracens that's very true. The knight picking the Franks here for the pocket position. And yes, most people know the Franks are one of the best pocket civilizations in the game. 20% hit points bonus on the cavalry, which you get instantly when reaching the feudal age, giving Franks the tankiest or at least strongest HP-wise paladins in the game in the Imperial Age. So I'm expecting to see Fast Castle Knights from the Franks here. Even a Fast Castle boom into Knights later on, but you could also collect stone and go for some castle drops as the game goes on for the Franks. Judean People's Front here with the Poles. Now to me that screams Men-at-Arms and Towers, which is a frequent play seen on hideout, because you'll use the Men-at-Arms to break through the palisades while you're building the first tower, and then you have the Men-at-Arms to protect your villagers from popping up more towers. It's extremely... it leaves your economy at home extremely fragile, but it could also be very efficient if you're able to tower and deny lots of resources of the opponent. But Minas Beta here gets lucky with the resource spawns. It's back stone and back gold here. Very hard to deny if the plan is indeed Men-at-Arms and Towers, and possibly some archers from Judean People's Front. Mayans, it is for Minas Beta. Cheaper stone walls if you like that kind of thing. You see sometimes some hideout you're walling one side with stone walls as well to keep any aggression, any easy aggression out. Yeah, Mayans, Fast Castle crossbows maybe Eagles will be seen, all depending on how the game progresses. In the pocket, Fred Fattig with Teutons. Teutons getting very tanky melee units as the game passes. The Teutons get +1 melee armor in addition to the already full blacksmith upgrades, so +1 instant melee armor in the Castle Age and another +1 in the Imperial Age. Add to that the Teutons have 40% cheaper farms. They have an amazing boom working for them. So if you allow the Teutons to boom, they will be sending out some nasty cavalry or siege at your hands. The unique technology of Teutons Ironclad also gives siege extra armor, so they are even tankier against enemy units. Now a quick fast forward here after introducing Covenant's Ethiopians. Probably going to play the archers as well, but you never know that 100 food, 100 gold upon reaching each next age also gives Ethiopians a quick and smooth Men-at-Arms opening, so that's also one opening with potential for the blue player here, but yeah, very likely to go for the archers, maybe even Fast Castle crossbows here. I'll probably fast forward for a bit, because aside from maybe some starting scouts fighting, it's not that much to be seen there. Saracens going up at 23 pop. Also queuing Loom right away with the next age kicking in here. And we had a fairly early feudal ages for the other players as well, so we'll just have to see what the next age brings. I'm not seeing any infantry units queued at all, but it's going to be a ranged blacksmith for the Saracens. And not sure what Minas Beta is up to here, but there's the feudal age and a range as well, yeah. So ranges from the flanks, archers on the flank, while Judean People's Front is going 25 pop here, dropping the blacksmith market, something that Minas Beta will see, and attempting to go for a straight Fast Castle with the holes here. Already with 3 on stone as well, but Poles with the stone gathering get 50% return of stone transitioned or added to the gold bank. So if you even if you're mining stone only stone with the poles, you'll still bring in some gold along the way. It's not going to be, or is it going to be enough here? Yeah, it's going to be enough gold to go to the Castle Age for orange. So now the clock is really ticking. If Minas Beta wants to go feudal age aggression here, we'll have to break through the walls to get value from the feudal age aggression here. Saracens double ranges, no walls to the sides here. Covenant double ranges as well. So we're going to have an archer's battle on our hands on the right side flank here. While the pockets are going to the castle ages at respectively 29 and 28 population here. More stone. So once the castle sets in for the poles, we're probably going to see a castle, defensive castle, maybe covering the other stone as well. Because stone also is significant for the poles since it gives you a passive gold income. Faster firing Ethiopian's archers with fletching against the standard Saracens archers with fletching, but the scout meddling in there as well, giving McNuggets a decent fight after all. It's almost a bit... I'm disappointed not to see a market here for the Saracens. That's one of Saracens' strengths. You drop a market, it costs you only 75 wood, and you get to trade resources at a more... at a better rate than any other civilization. Even at the very end of the game, when there's usually only 14 gold return per 100 resources, the Saracens will get 17 without having any guilds upgrades or market upgrades that give a little bit better trade rates. Both pockets in the castle age. Both pockets not going straight into the boom, but going double stable knights. So they are mirrored in the approach from the middle here. McNuggets and Covenant, they are trading somewhat evenly here. Their numbers production is consistent enough as well. Same numbers, which should definitely favor the Ethiopians, as they both have similar upgrades as well. But the Ethiopians fire 20% faster. Holds here with 2 TCs, so Judean People's Front also a little bit of preemptive defensive towers here, wants to keep any Mayans archers out. So 2 more TCs here. We're gonna see that castle pop up eventually as well, and once you get the castle up with the poles, you could research Slachta privileges, the unique technology, which will leave your knights costing 60% less gold. Trash knights, in effect. It's almost like playing Goth's infantry but with knights, but they don't produce nearly as quickly, of course. So here's the knight joining in with knights again. Go figure. And Fred Fatigue also with the Teutons Knights here. The upgrades seem like the same, which will favor the Teutons with their extra melee armor in Knights vs Knights fights. However, Franks have husbandry. So you see the movement speed is significantly higher for the Franks. So good pick up of the knight to go for that one somewhat a little bit earlier. So, Kråkeslottet well ahead in military here. It's the Mayans archers on the other side have been producing armies since the feudal age. Just gallantly dodging the poles area here, maybe expecting that castle to be up. It's not really scouted. Or is he going to try and break in here? Seems a bit risky. This is where the big fight is at, though, but they're sort of at the stalemate here, somewhat even numbers. Let's see if the Mayans archers can accomplish something over here. Dangerously close to that castle. Wait, what? Whew! Yeah, finish that castle. You will need that to keep the archers out. But Jude and People's Front, they have been expecting this archer movement all along. Tower here, castle there. However, archers can sit underneath towers because they have minimum range at least until you get the university up and get to murder holes, if you want to commit to that. You need to position the archers within that one tile closest to the tower, in which case you can just sit underneath and take out the tower with your archers. In the meantime, though, Judean People's Front is popping up the siege workshop here and mods to... I think Scorpion makes the most sense here, because these are feudal age archers and you get 2 Scorpions for the price of 1 Mangonel. But if Minas Beta is not paying attention carefully here, the Mangonel could get a real huge splatter shot in here as well. It's also a bit harder to dodge or to survive Mangonel shots with feudal age archers, but Castle Age just now 25 seconds away. Crossbow should be right around the corner. Seen the flag on the siege workshop there, I bet. Runs away, but there's some archers going down with that BAM and the castle fire as well. Mangonel gets 2, castle gets 3 kills, that's 5 archers total. That's probably Minas Beta flaring and telling that, hey, there's a castle here. What am I gonna do? Couple of TCs for the Mayans, fantastic economy for the Mayans. Late game raiding unit with the Eagle if you feel like it, but with Paladin Sibs in the team game, Eagles are going to be less efficient in most cases, as the Paladins could deal with them rather smoothly. Castle Age now 40 seconds away for Blue, going to be the last player to make it to Castle Age here, while our Mayans player has conserved most of the crossbow masses to be able to make a new push after the next wave of archers join in here. Eco behind for Kråkeslottet, military size ahead. Here's another run in, but crossbow isn't in for Covenant here. This is a very, very important fight for McNuggets to take together with the Knights here. It's a fantastic fight. They could take out lots of archer numbers here before the crossbow upgrade for the Ethiopians. That will be so devastating for the army mass of Covenant here. But there's crossbow is in. The Knights upgrades are the same. No, wait, it's +1 attack for the Teutons as well. So now it's a total of 2+3 melee armor for the Teutons. And also another attack. So the Party leading with the army initiative here. They're all extending their economies here. We may be setting up for a late game and Imperial fighting here, but it all depends. One big fight can sway the outcome of a game just like that. And currently Kråkeslottet still has that military momentum. Honestly, I would like to see Minas Beta wall off the left-hand side here with the cheaper Iron Stone walls. It's cheap for the whole team anyway. Maybe get some fortification tap, fortified walls, castles, and then you could just send the crossbow all the way around and you'd suddenly have a 3 versus 2 situation over here with 3 versus 3. But I guess it's not doing that because of the poles booming away and that cavalry of the poles, that cavalry spam. It's just going to be never ending once you get to it. Let's actually have a quick look at the military text of the poles here, just to see if there's any unique tech research. Not yet. So a bit on the passive side here for Kråkeslottet now, but of course in this engagement on this side they aren't. How far ahead are they in numbers? Maybe it's very equal here. Tiny advantage for Kråkeslottet. I like how they're preserving the numbers and not engaging, because you never want to use... You never want to take a fight where you just cancel out the armies. You want to get gain an advantage through the fighting. Handcart coming in for the Teutons as well, going to make knights and cavalry spam even easier. The pockets are with similar approaches to the boom here, but Fred Fatigue at 78 villagers to the Franks 67, so better or lower idle town center time overall for Fred Fatigue is down to half. This was nerve-wracking. Uh-oh. Run! Run, Fred! But castle going up, that's one that the red and yellow can't see. Could have actually got a pinch maneuver there with crossbows from one side and knights from the other as well. Castle for the mines now. Imperial Age on the way, that's perfect. You could deal with the Poles castle. And Judean People's Front is going for Obert. I'm not loving that, but I guess it's going to be a late game siege ram Obert push here. So Siege Ram, that's an issue for the archers, but being the mines, you could just make some Eagle Warriors and you'll shred the rams without big issues. Still a military lead for Kråkeslottet. It's 31 of those are on the right hand side, so Desync and Kråkeslottet, they're pretty even in numbers on this side. Look at the stone walls now going up for McNuggets, so should keep any push out until the walls can be breached. It's also securing one side for the later game trade, if it's going to get to that. That's a lot of economy committed to this walling though, and that economy isn't crazy for the Saracens player. 58 villagers only, but crossbow numbers ahead of the Ethiopians now currently with triple ranges. Looks like Fred Fatih wants to hop over to the other side, maybe. Here come the barracks, so that's in preparation of halberdiers to deal with the Poles cavalry, maybe. Poles actually, they shine in the Castle Age with that cavalry spam. They're nothing special in the Imperial Age, even with the Trash Knights, because... Trash Cavalier, I mean, because the Cavalier of the Poles, they are, because of that cheapness of it, they are lacking the last armor upgrade, which means they are very vulnerable to Mayans, Arbalests, Plumed Archers, and Halberdiers. I feel like I'm watching a game of chess here, just like waiting for someone to make the next move. But I want to settle this in Imperial Age. It's going to be the late game battle, and who can gain the most terrain quickest, or who can die the slowest, like the Team Islands, no, Medieval Legends game on Arabia. This could be both Eagles and Halberdiers, however, Halberdier makes the most sense here, since we already have the gold heavy Arbalests out. Fred Fatigue's cavalry is out and about. 50 knights, Imperial Age, just around the corner as well, so that's going to be a lot of Cavalier, and eventually the Paladin is indeed the Eagles. Which is also gold heavy. Halberdier alone costs 600 gold for the upgrade, so that's a potential issue there. Here are the Rams. So, seen through the Rams play, maybe Minas Beta here, seen the Siege Workshop and the Siege Rams. Franks with the Knights as well, but Franks still got 1 minute to go for the Imperial Age, while Cavalier and hopefully the last armor soon will be on the way for Fred Fatih, who also has the Knights mass here by small margins. Look at all these Siege Rams though! Not much Mayans arms can do against that, but working together with Fred Fatih here, who will have Cavalier and plate parting armor soon, it makes things a whole lot more complicated. Markets in the corner for Judean People's Front, and in the south for the other two. They're going to commence trades to secure gold income for the very late game. Potential infinite gold through the trade. This should be a great fight for Ferid Putting because Cavalier is still 1 minute 15 seconds away for the Knight, while Cavalier is in and the Teutons also have the extra melee armor, and there is no arbalests or crossbow mass here to help out in the fighting. Great engagement for Ferid Putting here, and he should just keep chasing, but you can't chase the chase the Frank's Cavalry with Teutons because you're just so slow. However, the siege trams will be going down. This is lots of wood and gold going down the drain here. On the right hand side, only crossbows for the Saracens. Imperial Age 40 seconds away. Ethiopians already there with Arb and Bracer, hopefully, soon coming in. Trebs pushing the castles here. Are we looking at a 1-1 play here? All quiet on the Eastern Front, indeed. How are these going to hold this? We have 60 Cavaliers, but our Teuton's friend has Paladin on the way, and Teuton's Paladin against... yeah, what's even the Poles going to do here? Poles aren't making any military. Obuch, Siege Ram, that's not going to cut it here. Paladin on the way. Cavalry masses well ahead for the Knight, but then there's the Arps behind, and with Paladin, that won't kick in time, but you still have that... If we compare the Teutons and the Franks here, there's still that extra melee armor. One more melee armor for the Teutons. And why is that only one more, actually? Oh, the last one comes with Paladin, maybe. Yeah, regardless, it's a cleanup for Fered Putty there. Just like that, the Knight loses shit tons of Cavaliers and is behind by about to half of the masses of Fered Putty here, who's really pumping out those Teutons cavalry units. Couple of forward castles from both players here as well. A point of refuge to flee back to, and the Poles player is in the Imperial Age but does not have any response to what's going on here. I'm not sure if Poles even get halberdier actually, but they really should, since their cavalry is arguably lackluster. But Guard Tower defense isn't going to save you here, neither are siege trams, even though they soak some fire from the Mayans arbalests. Only 18 Cavaliers from the Knight. Let's have a little look at the ecos here as well. Eco looks a lot healthier for Kråkeslottet. So more castle forward means more potential trebuchets here. They are being focused down. Slinging is allowed in the Imperial Age, so they are doing that as well, while Judean People's Front is already relocating to the south to conserve some villagers, knowing that home base is lost here. Poles player at 96 villagers, but only 5 military, not contribute to the grand total here. While on the right hand side we have fortified walls for McNuggets, but McNuggets has been very passive and slow with the army here. Has had lots of army mass, but hasn't really contributed. Could have, while waiting for everything here, could have maybe sent the arbs or crossbows over to turn it into at least a 2 vs 2 over here and help in the overall fighting. Some cav trams in front here though might also become siege tram from the Saracens here, and 60 arbalests with bonus damage against buildings, so Covenant might be needing some paladin help here soon, and they are coming to the rescue indeed. The trade has been spotted as well. That's been scouted by our field player. So there's some eagles maybe for the mines to be sent there. Winged hussar for the Poles. Guess there's lots of food left over in the bank to benefit that hussars production. Siege trams in front and the arbalests behind to take out the castle here. And not enough paladins here to clean this up, I think, but with the help of Covenant's faster firing Ethiopian's archers, you can see the archers bar there, the numbers, sheer numbers of archers should be Yeah, a tiny bit ahead, at least 20, 30 more military for Kråkeslottet. But you can see that siege rats in front takes so many volleys for the Marvelettes to take him out. Now the army needs to move on here, needs to move further out and not allow the Franks to remass units. We're gonna get some raids in on the Franks now. Send the paladins over, try to break through and work together. Don't allow any stone walls to complete in the back here and to let them back into the game. Back nuggets, Bales on the fight here. I mean, with the fortified walls and everything here, you could drop another layer of walls and then move the units over to the west side to try and push back here. Something needs to be done because Kråkeslottet, they are gaining lots of ground on the left hand side. They are 100 something pop ahead, 150 total pop. They are way ahead in military, 100 more military for Kråkeslottet and they 50-ish equal lead as well. Castle gets denied over here, which is huge by Jourdain People's Front, but here come the ARBs to clean that up. And with that castle going up, that means no more trade, but I don't think the trade runs there anymore anyway. It's still kind of running, but nothing to be considered trade-wise here. Markets in the corner for Fred Fattig, even thinking about trade this way now. That's confidence right there from Kråkeslottet, just trading where their orange flank used to be on this side. Frank's Paladin is in. 57 Paladins. Let's assume here that Chivalry is in for the Franks as well. If it isn't, that's going to boost the production even further. I can't actually see it, so... Wait, there isn't any Franks castles, is there? So, if the Franks player gets a castle up and gets Chivalry, that means 40% more faster production of the Paladins. But now with the extra hit points on the Franks Paladin, it makes things a little bit more awkward for Teutons. Last attack upgrade missing though, so that's a huge one. That one has been in for Fred Fattig for a while. Fred still slightly higher numbers as well, but gold is going to become an issue at some point here for Kråkeslottet because they aren't trading yet. They don't have markets in the corner. That's probably the plan with these builders. Let's hope so. To kickstart that trade. But now the knight is pulling back here, and imagine if these ARBs could have joined the fight over at the other side. Or push back Covenant on this side. Alternatively, there is some Franks, Teutons cavalry over here, not present on the left-hand side, so that gives the knight the numbers advantage over here. Are they going to fight this back? Franks Paladins fighting underneath Castle Fire here. The knight low on gold, but still mining some. Also, Castle on this side will finally be able to get to Chivalry as well. Whether that means pumping out Paladins or Light Cav, doesn't matter. It's boosting that production speed is going to be huge. Still unbuilt these castles, so they're denying these with great effect as well for from desync. 73 Paladins. Where are you finding this gold? Where are you finding this? Still gold in the bank, still gold being mined, maybe? Maybe they're taking some of the poles resources. There are some Eagle Warriors out as well, but not a lot of them. Need to work on being a bit more aggressive. Yeah. That's a lot of army that's been mainly idling down here. And there was definitely potential with the earlier Ethiopians Imperial Age there to start pushing or just stop these walls from going up and get in the castle up, but it's about judging when and where to take the fights as well, right? So we're quite even armies on the right hand side. Good pocket play from the knight to join in there and make sure that big fights didn't cost them too much on this side. Looks like halberdiers in for the Mayans. That's great news against the yeah. Great news against the cavalry masses of the Franks. Here comes the woodline of McNuggets. Onager cut through. And the Franks Knights are going wild in Covenant space. 36 villagers down. Gonna lose all of the eco here, at least in what used to be the home base. And how's that eco looking? There's still lots of resources in the back though, so Covenant not immediately struggling here. They haven't slung each other, so now in the Imperial Age they could also sling. I mean, Covenant could send... I don't know what they would send. They're actually struggling for gold here, which is an issue. But let's assume that some of them were... If either of the Kråkeslottet team players were floating lots of gold, you could send that to Fred Fattig, so Fred Fattig could still keep producing paladins out of lots of buildings here. Fortified walls from the poles, using that earlier mining stone to great effect here, and stone walling to keep the arbs and paladins out now, while the knight has a huge raiding party at work over here. Saracens still idling out a bit here though. And there's lots of castles to push back on this side to reclaim the territory of on the western side here. Thing is, these army masses aren't pushing. These masses over here, they are at least raiding, and they're taking out lots of Covenant's economy. Covenant relocating in the trading route here. They don't have a lot of trade running. That goes for both teams, but if these are able to free up this side, they will still be able to field those masses from pocket and whatnot here. Back on the Overwatch, the Judean People's Front really likes those those hammer boys. Well, the castle goes up. They're not going to give in on the push here. There's another layer, 3 layers of walls here potentially for desync, but the knight doesn't trust the teammate enough with the walling here. Poles, villagers walling too slow for his taste, so secured with some not so strong ranks, stone walls as well. Oh, all of the paladins of Fred Fattig forced back home here now. But cleaning up these raids, which is good. There's less RB, especially fewer paladins for the knight out now. They've been slinging each other a little bit here as well. But yeah, gold, big issue for both teams. Paladins now, they should try to find a way through here to return the favors of the raids through the land, or just make onagers of their own and cut through here. Could be an option as well. So that's a lot of paladins, and they can't even catch up with the Franks, because the Franks have husbandry, Teutons don't, so that's one of the downsides of being the Teutons here. You will never be able to catch up with the husbandry cavalry civs unless they run into a dead end or something. So many armies being tasked to defend back home now, to keep the trades out. It's paramount to get that trade income back online, and now there's a Franks raiding party here, making that tough to accomplish, tough to defend. It is still more than 50% of the map in the hands of Kråkeslottet though, and they are actually trading on the left hand side as well, or are they trading all the way over there? That could also be the case. I think they're just trading up to the 66 gold, it says. Well, here it's... Yeah, I can't tell, but... Maybe we should go back to the Eco KD actually, because it's been lots of builders killed this game. 98 builders killed by the Knight, that's basically 60% of Covenant's Eco here, and down to 59 builders now. Elite Skirmisher for the Poles. Maybe never got around to that unique technology. Lactic Legacy, yeah, that's given the Winged Hussar some blast damage. So that's a good tech for the Poles to have up their sleeve for later on. Great in Siege Ram, says Scuba Steve. That's true. Break through the walls and soak Skirmisher Fire as well, for that matter. Trebuchets allowing to take down structures as well, of course, but it doesn't have the mobility that the Siege Ram has. They could pass through here though, if they just give the Trebs that little target of their over there. Maybe they want to castle out of the way before engaging. They're actually now just soaking Skirmisher Fire over here. So that's some precious armor that's going down. Eldorado coming in for Minas Beta here. Actually, it's transitioned into Elite Eagle Warriors here with Eldorado. So now Minas Beta wants to go on a raiding spree as well. And the Elite Eagles, they should definitely be taking out trade cards with great effect. Why aren't they breaking the wall here though? This is such a weak spot. One Treb cannonball away, but the Trebs are too close, I guess. I don't even know what these orange spots over here are. Some sneak stables from the orange player, but with the castle going down, that means population cap or massively housed as well. Another castle in the trade line on the hill here. Short trade route though, not going to bring a lot of gold for the players here. Can we see that somehow? Maybe not. But it's not bringing in a lot of gold per trip. You'll see in the gold count here. I'm not going to see any paladin replenishment big time anytime soon. East side push with eagles as well. Where are the barracks? Are they taking the long way around? Are they just... do they have a gather point over here or something and they're just taking the long way around? Coming soon. Coming soon to a wall near you. Well, I mean, the Elite Eagles, as well as the Paladins, of course, will both deal very nicely with ARBs and Skirms, and Eagles will take out the Bomber Cannons even more efficiently than the Paladins, I think. Oh, Hodor! Nope, but there's a very weak spot here. Just target the market and you're through, I think. One Bomber Cannon to take the market. There's a little market, to say, university, I mean. I guess this castle might complete as well. Not enough Bombard Cannon attention here to take out the castle. The Bombard Cannons are tasking the Paladins instead. Left hand side, the Winged Hussar are here with the Skirmishers in the choke point. Onager comes to mind as almost a necessity here, or just more Elite Eagles. They should do the trick. And now another Onager cut! Are you kidding me? Oh, really playing the hideout dream here for the Knights. Now going to raid Minas Beta into Eco in shambles here. But look at the resources here. They're still floating quite a bit of resources. It might just be enough. They might just be doing Minas Beta a favor here with the... Okay, there's actually not really much of production going on, but let's assume that the barracks were producing quickly there. Or massively there. You'd have lots of Eagle Warriors on the field. If there were units in the queue, there would be lots more army on the field for Minas Beta at this point. But they are pushing through here. The Paladin masses of the Teutons are here, and desync, they are not going to be able to produce a large amount of Paladins just yet. total population is ahead for D-Sync, which is probably why they're still fighting. They are fielding trash units to keep up here. They're doing the raids as well, now raiding Fred Fatigue at home as well. Look at these eco numbers, 54, 40, 82. So Covenant has stabilized, but look at all the villagers they've lost here. 227 villagers killed by the night. Just a quick look at the notification over here. Elite skirmishers of the poles. Do they have full upgrades? Yeah, as far as it goes, they do. So goodbye Mayans Arbs if there were any. But now look at the Eagles production. The gold seems back on track for Minas Beta here for sure. 40 on gold. That should be the trade cards. So Elite Eagle Warriors, they should shred these skirmishers. Of course, an Onager Blast would be welcome there as well. But now pushing back on, or pushing forward on right hand side, pushing back on left hand side. Kråkeslottet might still have this. Oof, look at the taxes. That's why you research coinage and banking and these kinds of things, and you can do a tribute at without taxes for the very late game if need be. But they probably have lots of some resources to spare anyway. Resource tabs here it is, except for the food source of McNuggets, who should be sending that to the polls for the trash spam. They are running low on resources here. Desync. They still have that trade running, but it's not efficient. It's half the map. It gives maybe 40 gold per trip maximum, probably less. So that's not really helping them out. It's just taking up pop space here. Elite Eagles are true. As Jordan People's Front tries to get a gate up again here. Well, if you have enough skirmishers, apparently they can deal with Elite Eagles as well. Arbs on the hill, light cav, no match for the Arbless here. They are trying to hunt down the bombard cannons, but will they be able to do so in time here? Nope, doesn't get a single bombard cannon, which means Covenant can still take out these Arbs masses with bombard cannons from the hill here. Good micro attention as well, micromanagement to not allow the bombard cannons to be sniped. Onager shouldn't work either, because you have the bombard cannons for the same reason, with siege engineers in as well, giving extra range and attack. Let's go back to the eco tab, I think, to see the situation here, to see the slinging. Yeah, the knight running low on resources here, producing light cap, producing a couple of paladins as well, but the only real resource running here is food. Maybe that's all he needs as well, but population-wise, Desync, they are falling behind. They are 100 population below now. And now Fred Totting wants to use the same corridor that was broken through earlier to get there, but he's just going to run into a gate here. Almost was allowed in there by the scout by mistake, but or light cap. So Frank's light cap succeeding in diving and trap here, but they're not going to do too much other than that. Kråkeslottet 317 military, Desync 125 military. How are they still in the game? Or are they still in the game? That's the question. They've lost so much map control. They still have a tiny bit of trade running. That's probably the victory condition here for Kråkeslottet to get in, finish up the trade, and close out everything here. They are getting closer and closer. They're pushing on both sides now. The Paladins still very much at large for the Teutons, and as this little square area of hideout is the only thing Desync has left. They can't really flee anywhere. They can't escape the otherwise slow Teutons Paladins, and besides there's Eagles here, full on gold combinations for Kråkeslottet. Massive, massive, massive military lead. 3 times the military now. the real thing lacking here might just be siege weapons, more bomber cannons, more siege rams from the left hand side, more trebuchets, whatever you need to take out the forces here. But Kråkeslottet taking the win. It's a 1-1 here between Desync and Kråkeslottet. And yeah, what some games there were. Kråkeslottet were steamrolled on Nomad by Desync, but really paying back the favor on Hideout here for the game too. So 1-1. Nice and even set. Or nice and even game, I should say. The first game might not have been that even. Massive drop in the economy or army here. And some big ups and downs here all the way. Oh, you don't see the stats here. You need to see the KD, of course. Maybe the overall score even. 801 kills for the Mayans there. We got lots of trash unit skirmishes. Poles never really making it back after losing home base, but fielding lots of elite skirms units to get things going. Economy situation, best boom for the Franks. Teutons not far behind, or Mayans right behind the Franks there. Better eco overall for Kråkeslottet. The trade profit best for Team Kråkeslottet, especially the Mayans needing the gold for the Eagle investment. No overbooms here by anyone. And finally the APM chart with where you can just see the panic rising at certain levels in the game here. Hui, GG.